Hey guys, how you doing today? I'm Nathaniel and this is the Graduate Compass. So today guys, what we're going to be speaking about, what we're going to be going into are some top tips to actually help you battle those interview nerves. Going to interviews can be a really scary place for some people. It might come naturally to others more than others. So this video is just really designed to go through. There's about 11 tips that I want to go through that will definitely help you, or rather just to think about before you go to the interview, just so your nerves simmer down. Okay, now I'm going to split this into 3 areas, guys, and that's going to be pre-interview, when you get to the interview. So you've just got into the building and you've just met the person, and the tips you can use during the interview, during the process, that can really help you out there. I just really want to say that some of these tips I will be going into in a bit more detail later on, so stay tuned for that. So the very first thing we're going to be touching on is pre-interview. Now, in pre-interview, the main thing I want you to think about is research. Research, research, research. You need to research the company. And when I say research, what I really mean is just what the company does. Not necessarily what the competitors are, but what the company does and what role you're going for. As long as you know those two in a face-to-face interview, you should be good, right? Obviously, you want to research a lot more, but especially if you're nervous, one of the reasons why people might be really nervous is just they don't really know what they're going in for. They don't understand the role in its entirety. And I do find that once you understand a particular area, once you understand the section, then you're going to be a lot more comfortable talking back and forth about it and answering any questions that the interviewer might have. I've seen some interviews, guys, where people just don't know what they're doing. And I know it might seem like a good idea to go to 5 interviews back to back, just bang them all out, and not really know much about the company, and just kind of a shotgun approach, just see what's out there. But you probably won't get anything if someone actually starts asking, hey, what does the company do? And you haven't done your research properly and you feel fatigued and everything's just going down. So research, guys, I just can't stress that enough. So research. Next, guys, I want you to get your swag in check. I want you to make sure that you lay out all of your clothes the day before, or if you don't, just have a working knowledge of what you are going to be wearing the next day. That will just save you so much time in terms of preparation for the next day. If you're feeling really nervous, what some people do, especially what I did when I did feel nervous about interviews before, was I might study all the way, or revise or research or go through scenarios all the way until, let's say, an hour before the time, which then encroaches into, you know, the travel time, the preparation time, and you've just got to merge them all together, and then you're finding yourself rushing there. If you have your clothes laid out and your clothes are accessible to you, what you're going to find is that once you finish revising, or once you finish doing your interview prep, then you can just fling on your clothes, get all the notebooks, notepads that you've got lying around and that you wanted to bring to the interview, and you can just be bang straight out the door. So really, guys, get your stuff in order the day before. So this goes into planning as well, and know where you're going, right? I think that's another thing as well. Similar to knowing what you're going to bring and knowing what you're going to wear, it's just about understanding where you're going to go, because that 5 minutes might be a difference between getting a bus or not getting a bus, between getting in your car and going one place and getting in your car and going another place, or missing the train. You don't want unnecessary thoughts running through your head. Where is it? How do I get there? You just want to know where you're going. Have a rough idea. It might sound really, really obvious, but make sure you know how to get there. Some people are a bit more drastic. They might go the day before. Nah, I don't know about that, but you can. I've done it before in the past, especially if it's a hard place to get to. If it's really far, I might. But if it's just up the road or it's in very close proximity, just understand roughly how you're going to get there, how long it will take. Google Maps is really efficient in telling you where something is, okay? Okie doke. Now, guys, I really want you to have an elevator pitch. This is gonna sound like, so I know some people are gonna be like, what's an elevator pitch? Why am I gonna be in an elevator? Look, this is essentially just a 1 minute pitch on who you are, what you do, and what you bring to the company, right? Or what you bring to any organization that you're going into. Now, the reason why you want the elevator pitch, whether you're in sales or you're not in sales, is because when someone asks you what it is that you're doing, what it is that you're doing at the current minute, what you can bring to a particular position, you don't want to be thinking about that on the spot. You want a pre-prepared answer that you can just reel off the top of your head. And that's the reason why it's so important to have an elevator pitch, because if you can talk about it for a minute, you most likely can talk about it for about 5 minutes. And if they needed specific areas, then you can chop that down. Once you have an elevator pitch and you understand what it is that you do and what you can bring to the company, then a lot of the questioning becomes quite fluid. Right, you know what you do. You know what you do in a specific aspect, and you can answer that, and you're very confident in doing so. So, guys, please, whether you're in sales or you're not in sales, have an elevator pitch on why you are awesome. Okay, guys, I need you to get pumped. Right, this is one of the main things about going to an interview. Now, I understand that you might have a lot of interviews on. I understand that you might be fatigued because you might be going after work, or you might not be sure about this particular position, but you need to get pumped, right? You need to understand the reasons why you're going to go for the job, what it might be offering, even if that is only money. Get pumped for the reason why you're going, because many times people do sit in interviews and they're just flat. I've been there. I'm pretty sure you've been there. It can even happen on a date as well. When the other person is just completely flat, you know they don't want to be there. You know that they would rather be doing something else, and it just doesn't show your enthusiasm. So before you even step into the building, get pumped. I want you to smile. If that means that you have to walk the one bus stop or one train stop, then walk. Right? Anything that you need to do to get pumped. Get a drink, get something, do something to get pumped. You do not want to be flat in an interview that you want. Okay, so that concludes it for the pre-interview stage. I want you to now imagine that you have walked into the building, you've seen the person, you shake their hand. Once you have met the person, they are most likely going to ask you, did you want something to drink? Your answer is going to be yes, 100% yes. Now, the reason why I suggest this for, lowering the nerves in an interview is that when you are nervous, right, you want to really build some familiarity in the place. And someone offering you a drink, whether that be tea, coffee, or water, once you have something in your hand and you're able to take a sip from it and you're able to interact with something, and that one thing becomes familiar to you, right? And it allows the entirety of the place to become not so alien, as in you're just visiting and you feel a bit strange in this place. So you want to take some ownership of the place and take that drink. Allow them to do something for you, which again would put your mind at ease. I hope that makes sense, right? I hope that makes sense, but it's a bit of a psychological thing, but accept the water, accept the coffee or the tea. Okay guys, so now you're in the interview. Now, I want you to do something that you're probably not thinking about. You think it's an interview, you think that you're going to be talking, you're going to be put on the spot. What I want you to do when your nerves are high is just take a breath and forget everything. That's going to sound really, really strange. But the more you try to hold on to a particular idea or hold on to a particular convention, let's say, of how you think the interview is going to go, what kind of questions are they going to be asking, that's going to have your mind worked up, heartbeat racing. You're going to be on edge. What I need you to do, guys, is to let everything go, and I want you to listen. Listen to what the interviewer is saying to you. Listen to what question they're going to ask you, and then I want you to react. You really want to listen to what the person has said so you can genuinely have a conversation. Remember that an interview is just a conversation. It's a meeting between two people. Obviously, yeah, we call it interview because you want something at the end. They're going to be offering you a job. But at the end of the day, all it is just a simple meeting between two people to understand if you are a correct fit for the company and the culture, right? So listen to what people are saying and then react to what the person is saying. So whether that be a question on, your A levels, or whether that be a question in terms of university and your grades there, or your skills, make sure you're answering the question in its entirety. And when you are answering questions, the next tip that I want to give to you is be you. Be you throughout the entirety of the interview. I just said in the previous tip that you have to understand, it's a meeting to understand if you are right for the culture and the company, and they can't assess that, and you can't assess that unless you are you. If you yourself are funny, if you're a serious person, if you are quite straight talking, just let it go in the interview, It obviously not in excess. You don't want to be rude and you don't want to appear as a clown, but you want you to come through. Because if there are any clashes within an interview, then you can understand that culture or that person, remember the interviewer might be the person who is directly managing you. That might not be the team you want to join. That might not be the person you want managing you. So understand that being yourself allows you to understand the culture of a company, allows you to understand if you would be able to fit into a company. And essentially, it takes a lot of the pressure off you if you are nervous. Instead of talking like you're some public speaker in I don't even know where I was going with that, but in like a really formal voice, it's just not you, is it? You just talk to them how you would talk to them on a regular basis, how you talk to them on a regular day. So be you. Okay, now top tip for when you are very, very nervous. Remember that drink that I was saying that you need to accept? Take a drink of it. If anyone asks you a question, or someone is talking, or while someone is talking you're feeling a bit jittery, or you're feeling a bit on edge, or you don't know the answer and you needed some time to think, take a sip on the water, take a sip on the coffee, take a sip on the tea. It allows you to relax yourself, but then it also allows you to take that one break, that one moment, and stops you from saying, oh, could you give me 2 seconds to think about that? Even though that's not a problem, but at the end of the day, that sip of water is great, and it can really calm you down in any situation if you are feeling quite stressed. Stressed is the word. So the very last thing, guys, is share something about yourself that's funny and personal. Not too personal, but that is personal, that reflects you as a person. It might be an injury you sustained, or something about the travel, but something that just, as I said, it's just to get back to that point of being you, something that just shows your personality, the kind of person you are. And that could actually really pay off well in the interview. If you get the other person laughing, if you get the other person interacting with you, then you've won. You've won. That meeting is essentially as beneficial for them as it is for you. You'll get proper feedback, you'll get proper rapport, and you'll have gone from just a candidate in a room to an actual individual, a person sitting in the room that wants a position, that is actually being considered for that position, because they know who they are talking to, and that you're not afraid to actually be yourself, to let your hair down. So guys, that is it. Those are all 11 tips. As I said, I'm going to be going through a few of them in later videos in a lot more detail, because especially the elevator pitch, I think it's so important for you to master these tips for interviews, just so you can maximize your standing in any interview process, okay? So guys, I really want you to remember there are no bad choices. There are only decisions and consequences. Let me know what your decisions would look like, what you do to actually stop nerves for an interview. Let me know in the comments section below. I'll be happy to actually see what other people do, and it will be quite interesting. So I'll see you in the next one. Peace.